to another Friends Like Us. I'm Marina Franklin, and this is
Evelyn Frick.
Welcome back, Evelyn.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks, which is a long time. I've missed everyone.
They missed you too. Everyone's like, we miss Evelyn.
That's so sweet.
We were just left with grumpy old Dave Juskow. Where were you? What happened? Where'd you go?
Last week I was at the dentist, so my teeth are looking good, I think.
How did it go?
It was fine. It was fine. Yeah, it was. It's actually I had this like really funny moment where the dental hygienist was like, "You're actually brushing your teeth too hard." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he was like, "Let me show you like how hard you should actually like be like brushing." And he like took my thumb and then took his thumb and like gently like caressed it to like show me like how hard I should be brushing. And I was like, "This is like very sensual for like a dentist appointment."
You mean he was like,
I mean, like essentially he was like, "Yeah, like you should be doing it like this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Sir,
that
I don't
is
even know your name.
Ooh. Well, you have, is it the gums too? Is he worried about your gums?
Mhm.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can brush too hard. In the toothbrush, that's what they make shanks out of, toothbrushes.
Yeah.
So I could imagine. So after a while, your toothbrush can also be a dangerous weapon,
Exactly. Yeah.
damaging your enamel.
I know. Yeah. So I'm glad I have that information now. Yeah, so that's where I was last week, and then the week before, my super had to come over, and the only time he could come was during the stream, which I mean, I'm sure I love my super. His name is Teddy. He's great. I'm sure the audience would have loved it, but it would have been a little bit noisy.
So what happened with the pipes though? Like, or can you talk
Oh,
about that? I was imagining like your bathroom over flooding.
no, thank goodness it didn't like overflow. It like, I don't know, we just had like so many issues with like, I don't know, like the chain like became detached in a way that I tried to like rig it to like fix it, and I just like it like broke. So I had to come in and like replace like the whole thing. So yeah, I know. It's fine. It's fixed. And actually, like my girlfriend and I just signed a lease on a new apartment that's like bigger and like really we're
Oh,
very excited about, nicer. So we'll be moving
nice.
out of this place soon.
You're moving a lot. I never moved around. Well, I guess when I first moved to New York, I stayed in the village above the Village Vanguard on
Oh
7th Avenue.
wow.
Yeah, for $300, which I was probably paying the whole rent, by the way, because my roommate at the time did not tell me that his uncle had passed and he had lived there
Oh,
since the Rainbow what thing or whatever. He'd been there
yeah.
forever in the
Oh
village.
wow.
And so yes, I was paying that, and then I moved to Queens for a second, and then
Oh
Harlem,
wow.
and then I've been here for 20 years.
I know. I'm like, I think like my girlfriend and my like our plan is that like we found this apartment, we really like it. We want to stay there for like a few years. So hopefully, barring any like, I don't know, weird maintenance issues, we'll be there for a while. Cause yeah, I've moved, I think 3 times already in like my 3 years in New York. The first 2 times I was living with roommates, and then moved here with my girlfriend, which it's like been a fine apartment. It's a junior 1 bedroom, so it's a little small.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be that's the thing. New York, everything could be very small. I wasn't used to it when I first moved here from Chicago. I
Yeah.
had to learn how to build up. That's the key
Yeah.
in New York is everything like you see that coat, that awful coat that's behind my head?
Yeah.
That's me building up. I'm trying. I'm like, it's a bunch of coat racks over there. I'm not one of those, like everyone at some point, I guess in my life I'll get it together, but everyone makes sure they have a really nice background. Me, not Marina Franklin. You see everything that's going on. Look at that coat.
You're being authentic.
I'm so authentic.
Yeah.
Welcome, London. Welcome, South Africa. Oh my God. I've never seen you
Mhm.
here before. So, welcome. We do this every Saturday. Captain Morgan is here from Michigan. Welcome. Ypsilanti, Michigan. South Africa, though, is far. It's
That
like
is far.
hot. Oh, that is the front door. Yes, it is Fawcett Media. Wait, Fawcett Media? I feel like do I know? Okay.
This person comes on a lot. I think that's Mr. Mister.
Oh,
I think it's just a different
yes!
account.
He uses different. Okay, there it is. Thank you, Evelyn. That is the front door. Yes. I no longer have to put my mask on the doorknob because I have this thing that I got from Vermont. It's like a coat rack type of thing, but not really, with syrup hooks.
Oh,
Old
that's cute.
spouts for syrup used to hang, like, so it's an extra thing. Build up, Evelyn. Build up.
Same, yeah.
So where's the neighborhood?
We're moving to Ditmas Park, which is like South Brooklyn. So yeah, it feels like we're moving like into the country a little bit. But yeah, it's really nice. We actually this morning took the or maybe not.
Somebody else.
But yeah, we took it's only like 2 stops down from where we are currently. So we just took the train and like walked around our new neighborhood. And it's really, really cute. There's like a little bit more space. It used to be like, I think like the first kind of like suburb in Brooklyn. So there are a lot more kind of like houses and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a really cute neighborhood. I think I have a few friends actually who are living in that area. So I'm very, very excited about it.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, you need space. I want to get out of here though.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to
anymore like looking into like getting a house.
I'm trying. We have a real estate person actually coming on the podcast this Monday. Her name is hold on, let me look her up. Trisha. What is it? Trisha Lee from Brooklyn. She's one of the top real estate brokers in Brooklyn.
Oh wow.
And Brooklyn Reader, who, Zawadi Morris, who's been on the podcast several times, she's showcased her in that list of top real estate brokers, and like what was I about to say? Exotic. I sound like an offensive white man. She's an exotic real estate
You sound like
broker.
Juskow.
I know, right? No, she's for luxury homes, like fancy, like really good stuff. So I'm excited to have her on because I've been looking for homes, but I ain't going to Brooklyn. Sorry. You guys are young though. You can move again. That's when you're young, you can pick up.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my dad saying that to me. He goes, "Baby, it's incredible what you've been doing." He goes, "You know what? When I was young, I used to do that. I couldn't even imagine doing some of the stuff, moving here and there." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot."
It was a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I am back. Hello, DJ Eric Prince. Hello, Arlene. Very happy to be back. Yeah, I won't be doing most of the moving. There's a moving company that I use that's actually like a bunch of like really young, I think like Eastern European men who just like put like my really heavy like furniture just like on their backs and just like carry it. It's really quite astounding.
Yeah. So wait, how did you find them? Did you say?
I just looked them up. They're called Great Movers.
They're called Great Movers?
They're called Great Movers, which actually they have been great. So I do recommend them. I've used them in all my previous moves. So yeah, they will be moving everything. I will not be.
Nice. That's really good. I could not. I think about moving and it makes me very nervous.
It's stressful.
I would have to be. Everyone is like, Evelyn is back.
Hello. I missed everyone.
So we're going to be making some changes with the podcast soon. We're going to have, well, you'll see in the next month or so. I want you all to just watch and see what's happening as we're going to be making some big moves, hopefully. And you'll see, we probably will have some ads in the future on the podcast, which we don't currently have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we used to have ads a long time ago when we were at the CBS studio. So we'll be placing some ads back because guess what? We need to start making some money off of this podcast. I've been doing it for a long time and I've been very like grassroots with it, but it's time to actually, I want to get out of the way of the podcast and let it get bigger and grow bigger and let more people hear it and listen to it.
Yeah, that's really
So,
exciting.
speaking of moves, it's a great move. Now, Juskow will be joining us soon. He has a show he has to do tonight. So it'll be
Oh,
interesting energy because he's when he has shows and he has nervous energy. So get
interesting.
ready. Oh my, just got a hot flash. Had to take that off. So how's everyone do? Oh, so Fawcett Media. Now I met you at one of your first live flu anniversary. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
wow. So yeah, I'm going to be planning a show, a live comedy show with the Friends Like Us friends.
Oh, that's
S-
great.
Yeah, so I'm looking to do that in the next um month or so. Not March, but probably April or May. So look out for that. With some of the top stars from the podcast, and we're going to do a live stream.
That's so fun.
Yeah, Victor Vernado, who's a really good friend of mine, has he called me this morning. He was like, "We're gonna do this. Let's do this." And I was like, "Thank you.
That's great.
I need that support. Thank you. Thank you." It was really funny though because I was at the farmers market and I was talking to him, and he kept making fun of me because he was like, "Oh, I didn't know I was gonna be on the phone with you while you're getting pastries." 'Cause it was like getting "Oh, can I get that chocolate chip cookie?" It's really funny when someone can hear your eating
Mhm,
habits. Yesterday, I had a woman tell me, now I know this is like diet culture talk, but
mhm.
whatever. She goes, "Oh, you look good. Have you been putting on weight?" And I was like, "Yeah." Evelyn, I've never seen your eyes do that.
I just don't why would anyone ask that question?
I was like, "That's just so funny." I was like, Look, I go up and down all the time. Right now, I'm on an upswing, okay,
Mhm.
and I'll go back as the COVID thing. We've been stuck inside. I'm doing the
Yeah.
best I can, and
That's
look."
also just, like, how people's bodies work. Like, sometimes you're, like, gaining more weight, sometimes you're losing more weight. It just
But she was
happens.
like, she stopped herself after she said it. She goes, "No, but I mean, you look good." So I was like, "So this is your preference." Your
Yeah.
preference is that I look like this. Okay, I see what you're saying. So then also, I had this happen. I had
Mhm,
someone say to me recently who I know likes, bigger girls. I mean,
mhm,
like, and I mean, like he likes plus size models. And
mhm.
I'm, but I mean, he goes, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up."
That's
I was like,
funny.
"Well, at least I'm desirable." I was like, "That's fine." I was like, "I know what I like to how I like to feel in my body, how I
Yeah.
like to move around," but I was like, "Oh, well, this is good. So you like me this way, you like me that way." But it was just so funny because I was like, "I don't know. It's a." He's like, "You're doing keep it up." I'm like, "That's a sign too that you're telling me that I've gained weight." But that's all. It's all good. It's all good, folks.
Yeah. That's
Ugh.
funny.
And isn't it? It's like,
That's
ugh.
so yeah.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Friends Like Us podcast review and a preview. Evelyn is back. We got Juskow waiting patiently in the green room. He'll be on soon. I see you here, Arlene. Phil Rogers is here. Eric Prince, Fawcett Media. Welcome, welcome. That's my cousin Russell Jones. Cello. Well, hi, cousin Jones. How are you? Um, I just talked to Lavinia 2 weeks ago because my great great uncle passed.
Oh, I'm
So I
sorry.
just want to say, my uncle Russell was one of the most amazing, sweetest persons, and part of like my raising. Like my mom used to drop me off over there, and he was the sweetest man in the world, and he loved country music.
Oh, wow.
So he was my introduction to country music, which I was like, I remember Elvira, giddy up, giddy up. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known any of that. And T Noob or Nube from London, welcome. Captain Morgan is here, welcome. And so let's let in the man, not the myth, not the legend, Dave Juskow, everybody.
Hello, ladies. Hello,
Hey.
everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
look
just
at
wanted to
you.
say, as you know, and I'm sorry, I was not a fan of your Uncle Russell, but I am sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Well, I didn't care for him
You
or his country music.
you didn't know
I
him.
thought I made that quite clear. Oh, I know
You
your
did a
Uncle
little
Russell.
scrubbing today. You look like you just showered.
Well, I showered yesterday, and I'm going to shower again later. I'm doing the show tonight. I was at Bananas last night.
How did it go?
It went really good. That situation we were talking about, that was fine, and I knew it would be fine, but the show was fine.
Oh, great.
Talking about Rachel Feinstein and her, what do you call it? Entitlement, or I don't know.
Her
Princess, kind of. What do you call it? Diva, uh, kind of.
well, she forgot, right? Didn't she forget some things? And then she remembered.
It's
She was like, "Oh
worse
yeah."
than that, but I was just putting it together and said nothing is going to bother me this evening, and it didn't. Even though I waited in the car for her for over an hour, that is perfectly fine. I was expecting that would be the case, so I'm good with that. And we had a lovely show, and we are still best friends, and we are performing together tonight at Bananas Comedy Club in Rutherford, New Jersey, right across from the Meadowlands, where I used to do all my gambling before it was illegal. Before it was legal in New York State. So it's my happy
A trip
place
down
Ah.
tonight.
memory lane for you.
Exactly. Yes. There's two shows tonight, 7:30 and 10, which of course is already making my stomach hurt. That I have to stay up and or drive there and leave the house. So
It's
getting
making your
panicked.
stomach hurt?
Well, I also had 2 slices of pizza, but besides that, I get panicked anyway that I have to leave the house. You know what I like to do on Saturdays? I like to do this podcast. Then I just sit in the house. Then I cook dinner at 7 o'clock, and then it's nap time. It's time for bed. I hate going out on Saturdays. I put myself in a position where I don't go out on Saturdays anymore.
It is weird, like, the world is I guess the pandemic has ended as of this week.
I'm
That's
with
how
you.
they're I don't know how but it's strange. It's like they're I don't know if I really wanna get back to work.
Well, I don't. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, Elizabeth said, "Perfect thing." Rachel was trying to out diva me, which excellent point. Good luck trying to do that.
I don't know if I like these little fans of yours joining this session.
Yes, I'm sure that's awful. Listen, they're fans of yours too.
I know, I'm joking.
Well, one of them said where they're from, and then parentheses, Juskow's fan. So
Northern
making it very
Kentucky.
clear.
He's a big
Yeah.
Cincinnati fan.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's probably
so
the pizza.
it's the
Although I
pizza.
don't know. I had coffee too and donuts. Now that I think about it, why wouldn't my stomach be hurting? You should hear what I had at the Nets game on Monday. Remember you were talking about, weight? Well, at the Nets game, I sat down, I had a beer. My friend had popcorn. We had a beef taco, chicken parm. Then I got these buffalo bites with French fries and barbecue sauce and a Pepsi.
What
Wait, he
is
had
wrong with
chicken
you?
parm at
I have a
Barclays
problem.
Center.
I don't care for the actual game. I just like going for the food. It's my favorite thing to do. I
Yeah.
want to come down with like a big bucket of stuff of food like Newman does in that Seinfeld episode where he's at the Super Bowl and you just come in with all that food. That's just so ridiculous to eat
And then
at a
it fell,
game.
right? Didn't it fall?
No. Oh, no, I think he sat there and ate everything. He had a hot dog, he had popcorn, he had soda, and you just want it all. It's exciting. I did that with Memo. We went to a drive-in during COVID, Memo and Rachel actually. And I said, I'm gonna do the Newman thing. I'm gonna get a box of stuff. And I brought it back. I'm like, it's not like I have to eat it all. I can leave some over. And then I think we got high and ate it all. It was awesome. And I didn't
That
get
sounds really
sick.
fun.
I used to get sick all the time. I used to get my stomach was so bad, but it was all clearly stress related because I still eat the same, but I just
Mhm.
don't seem to have a problem anymore. I don't know why. I think it was stress. I'm getting stressed back again. But when I told everybody that I actually had a full-time job, that seemed to unstress me as I was trying to pretend I was a full-time comic, which I wasn't. And holding back that I had this job and maybe the job was stressful. And then I became a manager and that's me. I'm sorry. I just coffeeed up and, and
I
then
was like,
everything
I
became
was sitting out.
unstressful.
Evelyn and I were like having a good conversation, and now we're just listening.
Well, I like to come on blasting and then I usually, I chill out for a little bit.
For a little bit.
I mean, but you're like really going right now. I'm like, why? I'm like, it's a joy to watch.
Well, I'm trying to get all revved up, because I'm like, I was down yesterday. I was very down
You
and
were,
I was very
yes.
down. I try and get up for the show And, I mean, it's difficult. It's hard. I mean, I know you guys know, but I don't know whether you guys know. Like, it's weird to be depressed or hear about bad news and your life isn't that great, and then be like, I'm on stage. How are you? It's difficult. I mean, it's acting, and you got to turn it on and just do it. But unfortunately for me, I am what I am, and it's very difficult for me to hide my emotions. So if I'm not in a good mood, I'm not very funny on stage. But if I'm in a good mood and surrounded by friends, which is why I like the Cellar so much, I'm great. Or I could be, like if I'm comfortable in a comfortable position at a good club that I feel comfortable in with friends surrounded. But if I'm like on the road somewhere where I don't know anybody, I get panicked and I can't be funny. I don't know. It's a problem.
I do a trick. I do a trick, acting trick when I go on the road.
I know what it is, but I can't always picture everybody naked in the audience, Marina.
No,
I mean,
no, not that. No,
not that
trick.
one. I'm sorry.
I do a trick where I pretend like this is from my old town. Like these are people that I know from the neighborhood I grew up in.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a good trick.
And some places actually do feel that way. So I go, oh, I know these people. I grew up here. And then I feel very familiar.
Arlene just gave it to me good.
Oh, what did the eyebrows are dancing today, Dave? You can. I love it.
I had my haircut last week and I had him cut them down, but I guess he's not very good at it. I don't know what they're supposed to look like.
I did warn them before you actually logged on.
About the eyebrows or just
no, about the nervous chatter.
Oh,
look, before you even were in the green room, I said, guess what, guys? We've got a show tonight, so get ready.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Right. I'm nervous that I have to travel anywhere. It's like if I was just going to a restaurant, it wouldn't be that bad, and yet I'd still be nervous. But the traveling, as you know, I hate backtracking. I got to pick Rachel up in Brooklyn, then go back to New Jersey. I can't get into a cab that's going the wrong direction of the way I'm going. So this is driving me insane, but I'm going to deal with it.
There's also a piece of advice that I actually used. I did like my first stand-up show since Omicron a few weeks ago. And in her stand-up special, Jenny Slate said something about, because she talks about how she has really bad stage fright. And she says, like, don't try not to let your nerves prevent you from having fun, because that's, something that is also obviously.
Yeah, but that's a bad example.
Is it?
From her, it is, because she has too much fun on stage and it ruined her Saturday Night Live career. She got too comfortable, dropped the F-bomb.
I think that she's done a lot more interesting things since that.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying she got comfortable, dropped the F-bomb on live TV, and
I don't remember this.
Oh, I remember it well.
I remember. It was, okay, so I think part of it was that in a sketch they said the word fricking a lot.
They were saying friggin' the whole time. That was the joke. And then she slipped up because she was too comfortable. That's what I'm saying. Just I think she's right about what she's saying, but maybe you got to also not be that comfortable when you're on live television. I don't
know. Dave is on 12. Evelyn is at a pleasant 6.
Oh, she is a pleasant 6, isn't she?
It's so good to have her back. We're happy to have you
2
back.
2 weeks without her.
I know. Last
2
week
weeks without you, and I still haven't gotten over you yet.
I sent the reviews to Dave, and he emailed me back and he said, "You're really blowing it."
I know. It's so funny. I wanted to see that exchange. I was like, I can't wait. I was like, can you email Dave? And I was like, I know he's gonna say something.
So sweet.
So today is a busy day. I have 4 shows tonight at the Cellar, and I will say that I'm tired just thinking about it. My energy has been a little low lately, and I often wonder about COVID. I don't think I have it. I've tested twice, but do you know people who are still getting COVID?
I mean, not as much as I did during the Omicron surge. I felt like everyone I knew is getting COVID, but I haven't really heard of people that I know and people that are vaccinated.
I will tell you the exact story you want to hear. It's a double shot. When I was at the Nets game Monday, we sit with my friend Jono. He's in this other section right next to her. Total coincidence that me and my friend Lee had tickets next to this guy we known for 20 years. And he had COVID early on 2 years ago and told me on Monday, I'm still having the effects. 2 years later, I still don't feel right. Something's wrong. 2 seconds later, he texts me. His best friend is the coach of the Nets, Steve Nash, this ex Phoenix Suns player. And he says, "Oh," and the worst part is I just bet on the game and the Nets, and he just
Of
goes,
course.
"Uh-oh, Steve can't come. He's got COVID. And now he's in protocol." And then the team found out, and they lost by 40 points.
Oh,
Classic thing.
my
I'm like,
God.
the Nets are going to do it tonight. And like, uh-oh, bad news.
Well, is Kyrie
So
Irving
it was
gonna
about
come
somebody who
back?
had COVID. They're trying to work it out. But so that's the story about somebody who had COVID 2 years ago, still feeling the effects, and somebody who just got COVID that day.
Wow.
So I don't know what that means.
well, here's the thing. The positivity rate is low, but once we let people in businesses who aren't vaccinated
And aren't wearing masks.
it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I think the reason we were doing well is because we put these things in place. And though we need to get back to, normal life, I think the way you get back to normal life is you slowly do these measures, not like one,
Yeah.
and the one that's real. I can understand the masks because people are tired of the masks. I see them. I saw a friend Lois one time. I saw her mask was just flapping like this. I was like, Lois, you might as well just take it off.
Yes, but I had a friend who was flapping with a mask, and he ended up dying. So I just thought I would do a tribute.
But it was so funny because she was talking about how she's like careful and all this, and then I walk into the cellar and I see the mask just.
Listen, we know she's completely out of her mind.
So I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I just think that the non-vaccinated people being allowed in businesses is it'll be interesting. I'm wearing my mask until and I'm gonna just wash everyone like I've been doing.
Well, I want to tell you something about that, but I also want to respond to D. I am broke. Everything at the Nets game was free. The tickets were free, and the guy sitting next to us gets a ticket where he gets everything for free. All the food was free too. So only the beer cost me some money. I did spend, and that was $16. But that was my last $16. So if that's any consolation, but everything else was free. I am broke, but I still am old enough that I know enough people that can buy me dinners or sometimes take me to a game. So far.
One beer was $16.
$16. I wanted to kill myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I usually don't drink when I'm there, but I'm like, maybe today I'll have. I didn't know it was going to be 16. I thought it was 8.
Yeah.
It was double that. Also with the masks, like I said, I love that everything is easing up on the masks. Like I told you in Jersey, it's just been done for a long time. Not only were we in Jersey, yes, but I was at my mom's on Thursday and go into a CVS at 7-Eleven, whatever restaurant, no masks. I don't even think the employees are wearing. They're just done.
But Jersey was never. Whenever you go into, it's so funny. You can almost predict where it's going to be a little less strict. Yeah. Jersey, I knew. Because you just have politics too. But the mask thing, I get. Okay, it's like that. I get. But then the non-vaccinated people being allowed into busy places.
We'll never understand that. And there's nothing we can do. It's just going to happen. And it's awful because like you were saying about Kyrie and, he's going to get to play again. And, then it's like, well, what was it all for then? If he's,
exactly.
He's still unvaccinated. What were we doing? Why not just let him play all this time?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Look at this. I was in a UPS Hey Venus store, everyone wearing masks despite the state dropping mandates. An unmasked woman came in and started berating us for still. Yeah, did you see that?
That's
where
ridiculous.
the Santos guy who we showed a video of him breathing all heavy, he made fun of these students for wearing a mask. He was like, come on, take it down.
See, that's insane. You could still make a case for somebody saying you're not wearing a mask, but to berate somebody for wearing a mask, what do you care?
Yeah, like you should just let people make like their own health.
There's always going to be people who like, now I've been taking the subway. I've taken it 3 times now in the past 2 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I finally took it now. And, everybody's wearing the mask on the subway. I think I'm going to continue to completely wear masks on the subway for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a great option.
Exactly.
It smells on the subway. I mean, come
It's
on.
disgusting on the subway. People are gross on the subway, and anybody that sneezes now, it's
I
like
saw
terrifying.
oh, I know, but, every now and then you're in the subway and there is that now I've been riding the subway, and I know you were always shocked at that, Juskow, being that I'm so careful, but
Exactly.
I've always worn my mask, and so that's how I knew it worked,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to touch stuff too.
I don't touch anything.
How can you do that?
I
I'm always
sit
curious
down, but
about
I
that.
Lysol my clothes when I get home.
Yeah.
Lysol your what?
I Lysol my ass, basically. Like, where I sat. Like, that's what I Lysol. I, like, make sure that area is covered, and then I
Yeah.
put my cell phone I have a cleaning thing that I put my cell phone in, and I
Oh,
disinfect my cell
I
phone.
would like to get that. What does that look like? Is
Well,
that called a soap thing?
where is it?
Is that called
No,
soap something?
it's sort of like that. It's electronic. I'll
Yeah,
get it.
what
I'll
does it
bring it
look like?
next time. It's like
Bring it next time.
I don't feel like getting up.
Oh, it's in your house. I thought I was like, where are you getting it from?
No, it's in my house. It's like
Where's it
it's like
stored?
it's like a container. You just put the phone
Oh, they
inside.
let me use it at the restaurant downstairs.
They did?
No, I'm saying it would be funny if that was in the restaurant. You hate that restaurant, but they have that system there for your phone, so you're like
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
you like them for that.
I saw that woman this morning. I
Oh,
saw her. I saw her doing something, and I had this like, do you ever have like flashes of like horrible things happen? And I was like, what if I cross the street and a car hits me? And she goes, I hate you, but I don't want you to die. Like, as she comes over to rescue me. I had this scenario where we like had that exchange
Oh,
where she's like, I hate you, but I don't want you to die.
well,
Okay.
you figure that you would hope your neighbors would be that way.
I spoke to the senator of Harlem, Christian for Harlem, who's made the news so much lately.
I call you the senator of Harlem, so
I should
is
be.
that an honorary title? Is that for real?
What, the senator of Harlem?
Yes.
It's a real title. Yeah, she's
Okay,
like
I
a
was just
senator
checking.
or a representative
Oh,
of
a state
Central.
senator, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of Central Harlem and, District 9. And she's made the news lately because she made comments. She's anti-cop, and she's also she made the news about what's happening in the Ukraine and how
What's happening in the Ukraine? I've been out of town. What do we
they're having
mean?
a holiday. What do you mean what's happening? So they have something about, I think it was about how they're not like rescuing the Black people, and like there's a bunch of
yeah.
African students who are like having a difficult time getting out.
Oh, I didn't even know there were Black people in the Ukraine. I don't think I've seen one.
They're
TV.
like students like studying.
We're everywhere.
I should know that.
Mhm. Yeah, we're everywhere. So there's students, they were studying, and there's a video of them just the Poland not accepting Black people trying to get, because they're like they're not trusting
Can
them.
I just? Why would African students go to Ukraine to study anyway? What's there? I'm just saying if you're able to travel and study somewhere, why Ukraine?
I don't know. I think there's a relationship there with Africa that
I
has
see.
been established for quite some time now. Actually, we had an article in it about that.
That's really interesting story. What you're saying. I mean, somebody should talk about that on the news or something.
Thank you. D says, dude, there are all kinds of people in Ukraine.
Oh, I get that. But I don't know why they'd want to live
And
there.
Eric Prince says they have very good medical. They have very good medical schools.
Well, it looks awful there. I mean, it just looks.
I mean, right now,
really poor and dirty and gross. And I'm just saying, if you're from somewhere else, I don't think I'd want to move to the Ukraine. If I lived there and I'm from there, my parents are there, that's a different story. But I can't imagine living in Africa and then just being like, it'll be a great college for me. Syracuse.
Ringing my doorbell. Someone's ringing my doorbell. You know what? I know why they're ringing my doorbell, because
you're being too loud. It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's because I have a war with someone, and every now and then we ring each other's doorbells to annoy each other.
What?
Really?
It's all going on in my head, but I know that's what's happening.
Oh my God.
Are you going to answer it?
People upstairs. Every now and then I just buzz their doorbell because they get on my
really
nerves. Yeah, because they're always like pounding and running, and there's a dog now that's running, and like The guy, remember during the pandemic, the guy had the swinging legs off the
Oh,
balcony?
yeah.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Is
So
that Asian guy? You said he was Asian, right?
no, he's not.
What
No.
makes me think that? I don't know. I'm trying to
'Cause
be all around racist today.
no, it was
It's
a white
mental.
it was a
Go on.
white guy.
What?
How you feel?
I don't like the
So no,
sound of that.
and his legs were just so every now and then I just buzz the bell just to fucking annoy him because I live underneath and then I think every now and then he does it right back to me. I think he
Oh.
knows I do it.
Well, I've from just renting a new apartment, I recently learned that like if you complain to I think like the landlord or like the property manager about like someone above you like being too loud on the floor, they um like like I think something like in New York State like obligates them to like put down carpeting.
Really?
So yeah,
Well,
if you
good
really
luck
want to
with
fuck with
mine.
them.
Good luck with that in
That
mine.
is true. Evelyn, did you move?
No, but I signed at least on a new apartment, so I will be moving.
Oh, still in Brooklyn though?
I'll be in Dennis Park.
Oh.
Can you send me that? Is it an article that you read, Evelyn, about that, or you just heard
About
it?
what?
About
The
the carpeting?
carpeting.
No, I've heard of that
I
too.
can no, the broker for the new place actually told me that, but I'm sure I can find an article and send it
Because
to you.
everyone in my building is like, are they? Because we have a super who doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh no.
And so he did all the floors wrong. So now everyone is complaining how they can hear the neighbors
There
upstairs.
is some sort of carpeting rule, but I don't know how it affects everybody. But Evelyn's right. I know what she's talking about.
I can
Yeah.
hear them when they slide, just a soft slide across the floor. I can hear that.
Oh my god.
I
Through
think
my-
that might, Evelyn, it also might be like when you have a child, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. But I think he said like if you like complain, like they will have to put carpeting down.
Yeah, good luck with my landlord. He is, I don't know. Some of them are professionals at knowing exactly how far out they can like not do stuff.
Oh
would-
yeah.
D wrote, Marina is Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, the bowling alley. They're not too bad upstairs, but I do know like I've had tenants go, "What the hell?" Like I had one girl who moved because she was like, "It's like I don't remember hearing all this sound upstairs." And I'm like, "That's because Kenny doesn't know how to refurbish these apartments. He doesn't know what he's doing." And it's
That's
so
the
funny to
worst,
watch.
having a super that doesn't know what they're doing.
Oh, and then he gets an attitude. Like the girl with the dogs, not this one, but the other one, she got locked out again. Remember on Saturday, I told you she got locked out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh, you weren't here, Evelyn.
No,
That
I
was
wasn't.
last week. She got
Oh.
locked out and she didn't say thank you. Guess what? She got locked out again. And guess who? And who always helps? It's me, right? It's always me. I'm always the one. And I was like, I had all these screwdrivers, and she's like, "How come you have all these screwdrivers?" She's like, "Why do you know how to do that?" So then she comes. I said, "You could come in because you're locked out, right?" And she came in with her dogs, 2 of them, and one of them sat in my chair. You ever seen a big dog sit in a chair like a human? It was the most.
Yeah.
Like I lived for the moment. It was nothing about the girl. I was just wanted to meet the dogs. By the way,
Of course, yeah.
I was so happy to meet these dogs. I was like, I've been wanting this for so long. And then I forgot. Here's the thing. I forgot there was a random sign on the floor that said, "Do not slam the doors, please." Because I get in an angry fit and I write signs that I want to put up on the wall and I never put them up. I just get the anger out and sometimes they're just laying around my apartment. And I forgot one of them was on the floor. And she must have been like, "This bitch is crazy."
That's so funny.
Everybody's like that.
I think I have it. I was like, "Oh no." When she left, I looked at it on the floor and I was like, "Oh no."
That's really funny. The other day, actually, I was just saying the other day, my super actually got locked out of the building, and he called me to let him
What?
in. So I think
Really?
that means that legally I'm the super now.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that's what that means.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Captain Morgan. I've got to work on my. Well, it's better than putting up all the signs that I have. So they're just laying around. I'll put them in a basket or something. I'll be more orderly. Juskow, you're getting reamed out for your Ukraine comments. You may be canceled. Come on, Juskow. It's a
Yeah.
great
You can't
place.
cancel me. This is awesome.
Just
Also, the
Google
president,
Kiev.
the president's Jewish. He's
I
one
just
of
found that out yesterday. I didn't know that. I knew he was
And
a
a
comedian.
comedian.
Yeah, that's awesome.
and a comedian who
Hey, I
played
was
a
thinking about
president
this,
on
that the
TV.
way he's a comedian, I don't know whether you know, but he was like, kind of an outrageous comedian. Like he was like in sketches and stuff, and used to play the piano with his penis for like
Yes,
5
yeah.
minutes and stuff, right? So
Yeah,
I
I
was
saw a
thinking,
video of it. I mean, there's like it's like he's like behind the piano, so you don't
oh,
see
I see.
anything.
Well, but I was thinking like, wow, what would be the equivalent of somebody like that? And remember, he was like a really successful comic, like it was big. So I was thinking like, would that be like Dave Chappelle being president or something? But then I'm like, no, he's not outrageous enough. And the good example would be Jim Carrey. And quite frankly, I think
Yeah,
he
I
would
think
do a good
so.
job.
I think so.
Jim
But yeah, I mean,
Carrey.
I remember when he was elected, I was like, oh, like I hate like, like comics or like actors like getting into politics.
Well, we wouldn't want Sean Penn to be the president, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think throughout this like war,
He's been unbelievable.
He's been like very.
He has, as
stoic.
they say, stepped up big time.
Yeah, yeah.
DJ
And I mean, like, he
Scratch?
survived 3 assassination attempts or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
amazing.
That's insane.
I
DJ
can't
Scratch
believe
would do
I've
this
read-
with his unit. His unit. I love the way D uses unit here. What a great.
What I can't understand, unless I'm reading it wrong, is that they're just killing innocent people and raping them. I don't understand what the point of that is, that Putin wants them to do that too.
I mean, I think he just wants Ukraine, like he wants that land to be a part
but
of
is
it.
it
Rape is
necessary
part of
to-
war. You haven't
Yeah.
watched like.
No, I know, but it seems like it's unnecessary to do all that, and it just is going to make everybody else angry at him, because you can win Ukraine with your military force without even killing any innocent people. They're overmatched. The other
Yeah.
stuff isn't necessary. That's
But
what I
he's not.
can't
He's
figure
not
He
out.
doesn't
normal.
care.
Well, he's not normal, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It-
it's also it is part of war. I mean, like you had like the Red Army in World War II also doing stuff like that to German civilians, and numerous other examples. It's power. It's about exerting power.
It's really sad when you see that, when you're going to gun down unarmed people.
Yeah.
It's completely unacceptable. I mean, I know it's war, but how is that war? How is that?
It's
war?
always
You're
war. War
killing
is horrible.
unarmed people. That's why the
War
Holocaust is
is.
such a joke.
I mean, I don't know if you ever watched with Idris Elba. I forget the movie. I wish I had never watched it because the images still stay in my head. I mean, it was.
Trouble with movies like that.
It's a really great movie. God, if someone can come up with that movie with Idris Elba,
The Day the Clown Cried, the Jerry Lewis classic from 1971 that's never been seen by human eyes except for Harry Shearer. That one.
There
I
you
have the
go with
script
your.
here.
There you go with old references.
No, that's a legendary story. Jerry Lewis made a movie where he plays a clown that brings children to the Holocaust, to the gas chambers.
Oh my God.
It's called The Day the Clown Cried. He made the movie himself in 1971 and then was like, I can't put this out anywhere.
Oh my
And
God.
so it's never been seen except by Harry Shearer. It is in the library, like the USC library or something.
Oh,
and
thank
somebody,
you.
he knew the
Beast of
guy
No
there.
Nation.
Hmm.
So Beast of No Nation is the movie that left images, thank you, Fawcett, that stayed in my head. I mean, you're talking about children being raped, women being raped. The thing that we all have to understand is war is about nothing but death. And so to think that it's anything other than that is ridiculous. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's really sad. You feel powerless because you're over here and you're looking at it. And here's the thing I keep saying in my head is whatever happens there, it's happening here. Americans have this tendency, and if we forget what happened during COVID, was we thought that what happened in Wuhan, China, was not going to happen here, and it did. So we need to pay attention, and we need to get moving. And these oils, and we need to stop using their oil, right?
Yeah.
And we need to figure it out. California has to be the first to make that move, and then Europe has to make that move because it's sad. It's just
Cost me
horrible.
$70 to fill up my car this weekend.
How much?
$70.
Oh
It
my
usually
God.
costs under 50. I have a minivan.
But you're still alive. Look at that. Look
For
at
now.
that.
I don't know
Look
if I'm
at
happy
that
about that.
walking around. walking around, living your life,
I'm
huh?
a shell of my former self.
Well, at least
No.
you could be in Ukraine right now. You got to think. You got think of all the people who are trying. I know it's hard. Life is always
Yeah, but I'd like
relatively.
to be in the Ukraine. Take out a couple of Ruskies, kick some ass. The
Oh
problem, you know
my
what the problem I'm having
god!
is, Marina, I think I watched too much Hogan's Heroes, where actually everybody's polite to each other. I've been watching it every night. So they're like, Hogan's always like, well, according to the Geneva Convention, we're supposed to get our Red Cross packages. All right, I'll give you the Red Cross. They all seem civil to each other, which of course I know in my head is not the way it was. And they all always, you notice that when they're enemies, it is funny, even in, I know it's Star Wars and shit, but it's real. Like, they always refer to everybody as colonel and general, even from the other evil side. They still have respect for their ranks, which I always found kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I would just call the person that I was at work, like a German Nazi, like, listen, you bucket of shit. But we still refer to them as, general. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I tried to do a joke on stage about it. I mean, I didn't try. It just was like I could tell the audience was expecting material about what I just was honest. I said I'm just very sad. There's nothing funny about it except for the girls that were on the train, two young girls that were protesting and they had their signs, weren't wearing a mask. So I'm like, oh, so you could protect them, but you worried about them, but you're not worried about me.
Yeah,
So
I
there
mean,
it
I've
is.
seen so many photos of like people in like bomb shelters and stuff and not wearing masks, and it's just, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine.
Well, in bomb shelters, that's a different thing. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about on the subway in New York City.
Oh, you mean like, oh, I thought you meant like in Ukraine.
Oh,
Oh,
That's what I thought
there?
you
Oh
meant
my
too.
gosh.
Oh, let me make it clear.
Yeah,
Look,
make it clear.
someone's gonna take that soundbite and run with it. No, but no, I'm saying in New York City, they were protesting and they had signs
Oh.
and they were really proud of themselves and they had no masks on the
Oh
sea
my
line.
God.
And I was like, yeah, well, you could put if you know how to make a sign, you know how to put on a mask, damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the rule, right? So anyway, no arguments at the farmer's market today, by the way. Sorry.
What?
folks.
Why are we even doing this show then?
I know. I was on the phone with Victor Bernardo today talking about doing a comedy show for the Friends Like Us podcast, a very big show. And so I was like not paying attention, so I didn't get a chance to be mean to anybody or get upset. Even the guy who I argued with the guy last week at the
Who?
at the produce stand where I get my celery and stuff. Yeah, Evelyn. He was little microaggression stuff I noticed.
Oh.
See that? See? That's the guy. He's ringing my doorbell, I'm telling you.
Wait, your doorbell ring again?
The little tap. Yeah, it didn't ring again. You don't hear it?
No.
Oh, this is
Go out.
good.
Go out and look. Go out and look down the hallway and scream.
No,
at him.
it's all the way
Get
downstairs.
your ass back here. We would.
Why are you talking to Arlene for?
Because she said something funny and I didn't want to disturb your thing. She said, Juskow, please drag yourself out of the 80s. I said, I can't. I didn't want to disturb your topic, so I thought this was a good way to.
There's
Sorry.
a cold.
It was really funny. And
there is a cold water in my building. You're right, D. It is going on. I mean, what do you think? Do you think we're going to be in cold? I mean, they took that nuclear plant. That was terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's truly, that is World War III then. If that's it.
Now, did you see what Lindsey Graham, was it Lindsey Graham or
it was. Yeah.
Was it Lindsey?
It was Lindsey. And then Ted Cruz was like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, somebody just needs to take him out. He was like, somebody over there in Russia, somebody needs to just give him some good tea, And they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's really wild. Yeah, to hear politicians advocate. I mean, like, as much as like, I don't know, I dislike Putin, and I
you do.
And I would like Ukrainian, Ukraine to do whatever it needs to do. Like, you can't publicly advocate for, the leader of another free country free is subjective in that sense, but like to be assassinated.
It was a stupid thing to say. It's not his place.
Yeah.
Why would
Graham,
you want to
also known as Lady G,
put fuel on the fire like that? It's just that this is a maniac. He's just going to come back and do something worse. Lindsey Graham's an
Now,
idiot.
they
Yeah.
just in Russia, I don't know if you know this, they just captured a basketball player.
They
Well,
they arrested a basketball player from the WNBA.
yes,
Which
I'm
isn't
looking it up
good.
now as I'm talking to
That's
you.
just the
And actually,
WNBA.
apparently, she was arrested 3 weeks ago, and we're just hearing about it
Brittany
now.
Why was she arrested
Griner.
for protesting?
No, she had hash oil in
Oh,
her suitcase, which is like a big deal in Russia. So it doesn't look good.
Yeah, hashish or yeah, which we don't really know if they made that up, and also we don't really know if they're using her as an hostage
what does she
exchange.
look
Just
like? Good looking? I need to know this kind of stuff.
She's gay.
Oh.
thank you, Evelyn. Well, thanks for putting a button on that nonsense.
How many of the WNBA players do you think are gay? Do you think it's 50-50?
What does it matter?
No, just curious. It's funny about the WNBA. It's just like, no one cares, but there are like two people that seem to.
What? No, people really care. Sue Bird is
Yeah,
one of like the greatest athletes of all time.
Nobody cares.
Mm.
I'm a
that's
sports guy, and I promise you, nobody cares.
no, that's you
The
talking for
NBA keeps the
yourself.
WNBA going because they need to, but I think if the WNBA wasn't associated with the NBA, I don't think they would exist anymore. I don't mean that as a bad thing. I'm just saying. The only
No, but I
time
think people care.
So anyway, Evelyn, I was gonna say that it's funny because we were actually talking about I just love doing that to him.
Can you
Let's
see
see.
him in the green room?
Oh yeah, I can see his little dumbass talking about nobody cares. And no one cares. We talked about a former I'm trying to find the article because we talked about someone last week for Black History Month. If you listen to the episode, you know who I'm talking about. I'm
Lena
trying to
Horne,
find it. Um,
I
no,
definitely deserve that.
Lucia Harris. Lucia Harris, who died actually last month, was drafted. She had been drafted actually by the NBA, but she could not do it because she said no because she had to, raise a family, be a mother.
Oh,
And yeah, we're talking about Black basketball players. So
that's so
yeah,
interesting.
and
I had no
thank you,
idea.
Marcia. Thank you, Marcia. Tons of people do care about it. That's your friend too, Juskow.
Oh, I just texted. I stand by my statement. Well, I just think when it comes to women in sports, we care. We like that ice skating at the Olympics, and that didn't even do well this. Everybody likes that. And we like the gymnastics, and I think women's soccer could be huge, and I don't know why that doesn't pick up. I think that's better than men's soccer, and I
Well,
don't
there
know
are a
why
lot of
that's not bigger.
specifically in the NWSL, which is the U.S. Women's Soccer League. A ton of coaches just got fired because of like sexual harassment and sexual
Oh.
assault allegations. So there are some issues right now in that league, which I think is preventing it from really breaking through. But yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate. Like after the last World Cup, you would think that more people would start tuning
Exactly, and
in,
not just
and they
then,
haven't.
before that too. And it's I'm a sports guy, right? So I don't follow women's sports, so I follow them when they're definitely the Olympics and stuff, and that is what we look forward to. Is we prefer the women's sports in the Olympics, and but the soccer, I do think there's a chance to overtake the men. And like you just said, I guess there's a reason. I was wondering why, like you said, after the World Cup and stuff like that, it just
Yeah.
seems like it would be more prominent.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting because
I had a problem with that, Marcy, as you know, on my podcast. I don't think they
yeah,
deserved equal pay. I know, don't cut me off. You can cut me off if you want, but I'm only saying because they're not as they're not as ratings wise. It comes down to ratings, and they don't get the ratings that the men do.
I wouldn't say that's true. The U.S. men's soccer team is really bad.
Oh yeah, no. The soccer team is bad. I was talking about they want the equal pay for like the other athletes and stuff.
Well, I think she was talking about how the U.S. women's national team
And I don't know why the men would get higher pay. Exactly, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But they just need to get. It seems easy. It seems like just put them on NBC, and then people will watch. What's the holdup? They started putting the hockey on NBC, and well, that didn't pick up very much. Nobody cares about that. So
I care about hockey.
Well, I do too, but I don't think a lot of people do. And
what about the Winter Olympics? Did anyone watch that?
No one watched. The ratings were the worst ever, and
I watched certain events, but after the whole thing with that Russian skater, I was like, this is
right.
This
and
is
Evelyn, did you watch certain events because you were looking for the certain events, or did you watch because you was just turning it on to see, oh, let's just watch the Olympics?
No, I was watching for specific events. I mean, part of my job was looking at Jewish athletes at the Olympics.
Oh, I see.
So I was watching certain athletes for that, but then I was also really interested in watching Nathan Chen win because he was favorite to win the gold medal. He was really, really great. And then
that poor Russian girl, though. It's I don't feel bad for her, right? Because we don't want the Russians to be in that, and she was doping and all that kind of stuff. But she's 15. She's getting it from somewhere else. It's not.
Yeah, her coach.
And you see what they did to her after she fell. They really let her have it too.
They berated her.
Yeah, and also this coach is infamous for making kind of basically teaching her students to have eating disorders and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not. After that, I was like, I can't watch this. This isn't healthy.
Yeah, and the president of the Paralympics yesterday or today spoke out against the Russians and really let them have it too. DJ Eric Prince was saying.
Yeah. Well, they also started now. The Russian athletes, they're not even representing the Russian Olympic Committee. I think they're just I think neutral athletes is the term.
Yeah, something's all bad.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't really watch any of this shit.
Well, nobody did.
I don't watch sports. I used to. I will say with the Winter Olympics for a second, when I was I'd come home from doing sets and I was really high, and I have a great TV and I like seeing the snow on TV.
Oh, sure.
So I would watch. I like the one. I don't know what kind of sport it was, but it was the one where they look like they're on a skateboard and they go into the air and then they flip around.
And half pipe.
Is that what
snowboard.
that is?
Yeah, snowboard half pipe.
I watched that.
I like that
because I was like, whoa, what are they doing? And then I saw the guys they would flip, and then if their hands were too low, they're like, his hand was touching the ground. I was like, I'm gonna touch the ground too if I went that high and flipped and then had to land.
Well, that's half the problem, I think, with the Olympics is that nobody knows the rules, and when those commentators are pointing out stuff they missed, they're like, what are you talking about? And nobody knows that there's a half pipe and then the pipe, and there's too many events that we don't know. So if they just called it snowboarding, we would tune in to watch. I think there's just major problems. Plus, I think you need the remember how Evelyn would not know, but the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding.
Oh, I know about that.
You need a little
but
drama.
when it was happening, it was so exciting. Everyone tuned in. We need another scandal, and then everybody tunes in. That was awesome. Remember that, Marina?
Yeah.
How exciting that day was. That was the most watched thing ever.
And the luging events when the Jamaican bobsled. Everyone wants to see Jamaican.
Right. The first year of the Jamaican bobsled was exciting.
He takes me to off too.
But that's the other thing too, is that
bad.
Yeah, Shaun White just retired. But that's the thing too. It's there's too much else on TV. It's not the Olympics were every 4 years. Now they're every 2 years. And there's just nobody knows when to find stuff. You watched what you were told to watch, what was on Channel 4, and now it's all over the place. It's hard to get a handle on what you're supposed to do. And they show way too much in the summer, way too much beach volleyball, and way too much curling. And that who's that going to turn off? Everybody.
I love beach volleyball.
You can really? I mean, I watch it when the girls are playing, but only.
So now you watch, huh?
Completely different reasons. They're wearing the skimpiest outfits I've ever seen.
I watched the women's beach volleyball because like they were favored to win gold. So, and also like one of the athletes who won
But
gold
it's
was Jewish.
dull.
So
And it's on all the time. Like they have hockey on,
I
women's and
love
men's.
hockey.
But in the
I
Olympic
was also following the
hockeys,
hockey team.
you what?
I was following the hockey team because in 2018 the U.S. women's team won gold, so I wanted
Right, they
to
lost to
know.
Canada this year, right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was unfortunate.
And that should be a
King
bigger event, US Canada women, and it still didn't get any ratings.
King Tut had a sweet dagger. This is in the news. I just like the
King
title.
Tut, the villain from Batman?
King Tut's dagger came from outer space and also Syria. It's one of the
Interesting.
headlines,
Sometimes
but
I
I
think
like the
I'm
way it
from outer
starts.
space, man.
I just like how it starts. King Tut had a sweet dagger.
King Tut.
Anyway, just trying to change the subject. Jamaican spot. Oh, they came in last again this year. Yeah, it's not their thing.
It is not their thing.
But it was exciting, and that movie is awesome.
What?
Cool Runnings with John Candy.
Oh, yes.
John Candy was the
That's
best.
my
I just saw
coffee
Only the
prop.
Lonely this morning again. He's such a good actor. I wish he was alive.
Oh yeah, what's up with the curling? That's right. Every time I wanted to see snowboarding, somebody was throwing
See?
that damn rock and sweeping. Wasn't the holy white was
What the fuck? They got brooms?
Yeah,
It's so stupid. And that's all they show.
It's
Nobody knows what's happening. You don't even know. You're watching it and you still don't know what the goal is.
No.
You know, you're sitting there watching and you don't know how to win. And then it goes into like innings and you're like, there's more? It's awful. It's not like, it's like all the sports we know, hockey, you score a goal.
Yeah.
Obviously that's the game. Baseball, you get to home plate, it's all makes sense. Curling just, these are sports that just don't. How do you win?
I think it's a good time for some reviews from the Friends Like Us podcast.
All right. Let me give last
Go,
week's
Evelyn.
Yeah, so some reviews. This one comes from Apple Podcasts, which is a good reminder to review Friends Like Us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us 5 stars. It is a great way to tell us what you like about the show, and also helps other potential listeners find us. So this one says 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. I both enjoy and gain greater understanding when listening to the different perspectives of Marina and her guests. I also love the humor aspect of the show as well. And then on Twitter, from someone retweeted a tweet about one of the most recent episodes, or I think the most recent episode with Noye Brown West, Vanessa Fraction, and Paula Bell. Saying such a fun listen. And then I also
what they said.
They said such a fun listen. Concise, to the point.
Such a short review.
Yeah.
Such a fun. It was a fun listen. I actually I'm gonna just comment on this.
Yeah.
I messed up on that recording. So for those of you that are on here and that listen to the podcast for about an hour, I thought I was recording and I was not recording. And so you heard it here. You're the only ones that know. If you don't go to my live, you wouldn't know this. But for an hour, I thought I was recording because there's a little button that looks red.
Yeah.
And then you hit, and it looks red when you hit it record and when you don't hit record. And I wrote of course I wrote them a letter. And I was like, you need to make this more clear. It's like the record button is the most important button of all buttons in the world, except for the nuclear button. And that button needs to be clear that I'm recording and I'm not recording. And I felt so bad because I had Vanessa and Paul. So that's why in the first, it's just Paula and the 3 of us because we couldn't get Vanessa again. And they have been dropping jewels, man. And I knew I was so mad because I looked down and I said, this thing is not recording. And my heart sunk and I felt so bad. I haven't done that in the years of doing this podcast. And I mean, you guys know how long I've been doing it. I have never done that. I was so upset with myself, but it was still a great episode. And it was still a lot of fun when I did hit record.
Yeah.
And even before I hit record with Paula Bell, which a lot of you may not know Paula Bell, because, Paula Bell has been around. I mean, you should. She's been around a very long time. She used to follow Richard Pryor at the Comedy Store. I mean, she's a real like stand-up comic who made sacrifices. That's why we were talking about Lucia, having to make sacrifices and deciding not to go on to the NBA, because I always think about, not necessarily in Women's Month and Black History Month, about the ones we know, but how about the ones that we could have known? But there were things that were in their way because of the time they're in that kept them from being great, right? I think Paula Bell is definitely one of those. She's like one of my favorite female comedians. And I think if she had just been in a different age, she would have been like a huge, she's still huge to me, but she would have been a big star to all of us. So it was a real honor to have her on the podcast. And if you get a chance, you will hear her talk about the sacrifices or not sacrifices, about having 2 kids and being a female comedian. Not easy as single mother, as a stand-up comedian, not easy. So there it is.
That's great. Yeah. Actually, I think I was able to meet Paula. She did like a recording with Friends Like Us a few years ago, actually. So I was at that recording, which was great. But yeah, and then there's this, our last review for this week, coming from Instagram, from Constantine CE, which I picked because I think it's a great example of disagreeing with something that's said on the show, but still being polite. So they say, I don't agree with Professor, well, this is from last week. It says, I don't agree with Professor Greer's final take on why we as Black people don't have certain things. Lack of organization is still our biggest challenge today. We need organizational resources with our communities, helping each other across the board. But I love this podcast.
Oh, so they're saying they don't agree that we don't have certain things?
I think I can't remember exactly what Professor Greer said. I think maybe that she might have said that like there isn't lack of organization anymore. And this person saying that there is.
Oh, there is lack of organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting because we were talking about, again, defund the police.
Yeah.
The fact that we need police, and like we just saw Biden's I don't know if you watched his address. Did you watch it?
I didn't, but I heard good things about it.
Well, I watched it and then I was like, I got to do some other things. I was like this. I try to pay attention. Then they'll give us the highlights tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's an echo. Do you guys hear that?
There weren't a lot of highlights. And how rude was it for that Marjorie Taylor Greene started heckling and stuff? That's unbelievable. That's so rude. That's so disrespectful, no matter who you vote for. My goodness.
Where do you think you are? Like, it'd be rude at like a tiny like comedy show, like let alone.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that at a Broadway show. The same thing. It's really, really rude. Unbelievable.
Yeah. There is an echo. Juskow, did you do something?
No.
There's never been an echo before. You never wear headphones, do you?
No.
Oh, now it's gone. You must have had you did something.
I didn't do anything. I
So
swear.
that whole thing about helping me with the podcast, no. Yeah, at least she didn't shout out "you lie" like they did with Obama, but it was still the same disrespect. It's just as you spelled lie wrong. You put lie. There's the echo again. Yeah, I don't know. He said fund the police. Don't defund. And I'm not sure I'm in agreement of that moment, because you can't say just fund the police. You got to talk about what that means, because that's been the problem. We can't make it a headline. We got to make it a very thorough discussion. I saw cops on the train last night. One of them actually very hot. And I was like, "Oh, I am glad you do not have on your mask, sir." Thank you. Ooh, wee. Ooh. He was fine. I think he was Latino too. But the one thing I noticed was there was a Black woman, there was a Latino man, there was the other guy was probably Latino, and then there was a white cop. And I was like, just the visual of that, the diversity in my neighborhood or on a train matters. seeing that, and also I think knowing they're from the community in the community is important. So that has to be a conversation. You can't just talk about funding the police. You have to talk about um, having police that know the community, being in the community. You have to talk about like getting police to have like there was something on New York One today about they're do I mean it made me kind of laugh, but them doing a theater workshop with cops. I had this thought. It made me laugh. I was like, is that where we're at? Are we that like as human beings, are we that crazy that we need to do theater workshops for you not to shoot me? Like seriously. But those type of discussions, whatever it takes to get people to see us as human beings, it needs to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Are you on cocaine? Who's on cocaine? Is it you, Juskow?
Well, it's
Is
March.
that
I
what?
usually get some, but
Is
I'm
that
not
why
on
you're
it
so
right now.
up? You better not be doing cocaine. They're cutting it with stuff.
Well, they were. I think it's back to normal now. That's what I've been told. I told you there's a reliable source, and I said, let me know when I can go back to doing it again or getting it. And she said, I think it's time.
No.
So, yeah, they were cutting it with that fentanyl, so people were dying. But every March I get, that's how I got fired from my job. Remember?
Jesus Christ.
Technically.
Juskow, don't you dare. Don't you
How very
dare.
From
Wolf
the
of Wall
80s,
Street of
remember?
you.
Arlene knows.
It was funny because Keith last night was like, I was walking him to the car and he was like, I was smoking on my little vape thing. He was like, stop doing that marijuana. It messes with your head. I go, well, stop drinking wine.
You can't stop drinking. Oh, by the way, we were talking about that last week, and I heard again, there's still another story. They say one glass of wine now helps with diabetes.
They keep going back and forth. Which one is it? Stop it.
Clearly, a glass of wine a day is helpful,
It's not.
but any
And we
more than
know
that
it.
is not, I guess.
No, it's
And
just
I don't
like
know
the
if you have to have
mask
it every
thing.
day. I think they're just saying one glass of wine every once in a while is not horrible.
So Stace is saying get a test strip before you put anything in your body. A clinic here in the Denver area gives free strips,
What's it
naloxone,
for, to check the cocaine?
Yeah,
nal-
to check it.
They have that?
naloxone, and
I mean, I don't
syringes.
need it. I'm just saying.
Well, you learned something here today from Stace. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stace.
No, thank you, Stace.
One of our huge fans, one of my favorites. Thank you, Stace. By the way, Stace, we're going to be doing a show at the Fat Black Pussycat at the end of this month on the 30th. I'm going to be headlining, doing an hour. Dave Juskow will be on that show, doing it a couple of minutes. I mean, I'll be doing just two.
It keeps
He'll be,
getting
Hi,
my minutes
everybody.
keep getting cut
Goodbye,
down.
everybody. So stay tuned on the live because you'll get free tickets if you stay here. We'll be putting up that information soon. I'm running out of material to talk. I'm so tired today. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I have COVID because I have this. I was on stage last night and I was like, I'm out of it. And then Keith was like, it's because you're smoking so much weed. And I'm like, I'm not high right now.
I was at the bar next door, but I think you had already. I was going to call you and say to come by, but it was like 11:30 already. I think.
Oh, I was gone.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Like
I do not.
I looked who was on the list, and I called Gary Goldman, and I said, "Come by," and he's like, "No, I got to take the subway now, otherwise I'll get murdered."
Yeah, you said who said that?
Gary Goldman.
That's what I say. Oh, we're so much alike, me and Gary.
It was no joke. I knew he was joking, but he wasn't joking at the same time. You know,
no,
I get on that
like
before midnight at least.
I really, it's so funny because I tell Keith that all the time, and he's like, "Relax," and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It's not about like I don't want to hang out and I don't want to do this. It's really about like there's a certain time cutoff on the subway where it's really, really dangerous. Now, I will say,
I would say after 11, but after midnight is probably before midnight is probably.
I don't even after 11. At 11, I try to get out. Wait, tonight's gonna be Uber for me because my last spot is at 11.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be very expensive. It's gonna be a very expensive lift.
What does an Uber cost from you?
I took one on Thursday after seeing Dave Chappelle.
Tell me it cost $70. I'll die.
He was at the Village Underground. I wasn't watching. He was just having to be there. And I hung out longer than I wanted to. because someone was like, "Come on, hang out," and then $50.
Well, that's not awful. I thought it would be more. And if it's raining,
Oh,
then it
That's a
would be more,
lot.
right?
It's
that is
usually
a lot.
20.
Oh,
It's like $22.
why was it 50 then?
It's
Surge
surge.
prices.
Well,
Yeah.
why was there a surge price? Was it raining? I mean,
Mm.
why is there, what do they just decide at 11 o'clock they're going to start surge pricing? Why'd you take a taxi then?
Sometimes that's
Because
what's
the
been
taxi
going
doesn't
on.
have surge pricing.
If you could get a taxi.
Well,
Yeah.
use the app that I use. It's called Curb. You can get it just like an Uber. Come right to you.
I don't like taxis.
Well, I don't like them either, but when you can't get an Uber and they start with that horrible surge pricing and you're going to have to pay $50 more than you would normally, get a taxi. I hate them too. I've hated them since the 80s. I was so angry that, first of all, we know that they would pass by black people. We know that's a fact. But they would also back then put on their off-duty lights all the time if they didn't want to pick you up. And they just carry around, and then they turn it off if they thought you were okay. It was awful. And you couldn't get a taxi to save your life between 4 and 5 in the afternoon because they were all going home.
I
They're
remember
the
that.
worst. They deserve to be run out of town.
I do remember they used to do a lot of stuff because we needed them, like not picking up black people.
Oh, that was a fact. And I think I told you that story that who were we? Reggie McFadden, right? We were trying to get him a taxi at the Improv, probably in 1989, and we sent out Dan Vitale to go get one, or him and Attell would go wave one down, and then we'd bring him out. The taxi driver was like, "Ah, no," because he was going to East New York too. It's like, and Reggie was the greatest, but East New York was exactly where they did not want to go.
I don't blame them. Actually,
But yeah,
East
they
New York
wouldn't
is
have
pretty
stopped for him.
scary.
They're horrible people, taxi drivers.
Now, before we go today, yeah, they were, but they're now Uber drivers. And I
Yeah.
think about that all the time. I'm like, this person I'm in this car with at one point didn't pick me up. I'm always
That's right.
thinking that.
Not cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reggie
3 p.m. shift
McFadden was
change,
the
exactly,
best.
right? Yeah,
Reggie McFadden.
before he lost his mind.
Still, well, don't say that.
I think everybody knows.
Can we do a quick boomerang where you're moving in your
Yeah.
box? And go. Oh, I cut off my own head. Hold on.
I'm not doing it again.
Come on, go. You barely moved, but that's okay.
Well, I
We
thought the
do have
boomerang
to.
moved.
We do have to go. We have to get out because not only do I have a show, but look, now I'm doing the energy that I should have been doing the whole show. It's so funny how I kick in at the last minute. All right, guys. You guys have been an awesome crowd. Keep listening to the Friends Like Us podcast. Evelyn, where will you be performing next, or what can they look out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any dates for new shows at the moment, but you can keep a lookout for things on my Twitter at Evelyn G. Frick. I have writing on Reductress, you can see. And then also I recently published a profile of Jenny Slate, whom I interviewed. You can find that on heyalma.com. So yeah, that's where you can find my stuff.
You know, I met Jenny Slate. I did a show with her.
She's great. She's so sweet.
I'm better than her. You know that, right? No.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
I mean, I am actually. No, but no, after a show I did with Sarah Juskow, we weren't there. Were you?
How could I not have been there? What's going on here?
We met up with her at the hotel, and Jenny Slate was there.
Oh, that could be. I just don't remember.
Oh.
I guess she didn't make that much of an impression.
She's very nice, Evelyn.
What I remember is meeting that very handsome guy that used to go out with Jennifer Aniston. What's that guy's name?
Brad Pitt?
No, even hotter.
Oh, Justin something?
Yes.
Trudeau?
Yes.
Yes. That's Canada's. What? Oh no, his last name is his last name?
No, Trudeau? But it's something like French like that.
Thoreau.
Yeah.
Confusing.
God, is he good looking? Then it
but
turned
he
out
looks
we
like he is
went
an
out with
ass.
the same girl, but we didn't know. She's dead, so it didn't matter.
Oh my God. Okay. Tell us where you're performing next.
Well, you don't want to hear that story? It's unbelievable. Justin Thoreau, yeah. Oh, I will be at Bananas. I love those names. Tonight with Rachel Feinstein in New Jersey, if you're around. Seems like everybody's not from around here, though. And then I'll be on this show with this whorish, but no, Marina show, obviously, on March 30th, right? Or are we not saying the date? I just did.
Yeah,
We can cut
March
that
30th.
out. No, yeah, that's exciting. Thank you. And otherwise, my podcast called Juskow in the City comes out every Tuesday. And don't always remember to watch the Comedy Cellar nightly show, 6:00 on Tuesdays. It's super fun. I got a chat room just like this, and all we do is mock Marina, mostly for the hour, and Evelyn. So,
hello.
We praise Marina all the time in her greatness.
Well, you guys have been great. You can, like we were saying, listen to the podcast. We have a great episode that's coming out this week with Mimi Simpson. And look, I'm forgetting. I gotta look because there's so many shows that go by. Today I'm having I feel like a senior moment. I'm saying words wrong. I was trying to talk about the album company. I was trying to say 800-pound gorilla, and I said 100-pound gorilla, which wouldn't do anything.
Tell her there's tell Stace there's no show next week, right?
Oh yeah, there's no show next week because I will be in. I'm trying to get the names of the people on the show, but I can't. Sorry.
It's good because I'm going to go get chicken wings.
Can I have my moment, please?
Sorry.
You shut your sure.
Evelyn, you can come with me if you want.
So no, next week I'll be in Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Festival, doing a stand-up show for one night and then coming right back. Evelyn did the arrangements for that. Thank you so much, Evelyn. And my
Evelyn has you in a middle seat.
No, she does not. She did a great job, actually. I'm in the aisle, and I even fixed the seat and moved it up. So I'll be at the South by if you're in Austin, Texas, I'll be there. And then yes, on the 30th, I will be headlining at the Fat Black Pussycat, and I'm also doing a stand-up show, believe it or not, for Igloo for 5 minutes on the 24th. You'll see that. Igloo, remember the ice where you put beer and when you do the football thing, what do you call it?
Tailgating.
Tailgating.
Oh, wait, what? I mean,
Igloo. I'm telling you, I sound like an old lady today.
They made the cold cases, though. Oh, that sounds. I didn't know they were still around.
It's a private event, though, but I just wanted to bring it up because I find it so fascinating that they want me to do jokes about it, about Igloo, about that. Funny. So, and also just listen to the podcast. We got a really great episode coming up with one of the top 5 real estate brokers in Brooklyn. So, and she's amazing. So check it out. And you could get all that. There's a Linktree that's scrolling beneath here. Stay great. We'll be back after next week. I'll be back. Don't worry. We're not gone forever. 1 weekend out. It's not going to kill you, folks. And there's just going to be so much more. And also you can join our Patreon page, Patreon.com/Friends Like Us. It's a great way to support the podcast because we don't make a lot of money and I put out a lot of content, but that's going to change. So stay with us. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Get vaccinated if you haven't. Still wear your mask. And Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Stace.
Oh, thank you, Stace.